Questions and answers. Your host, Adrian Lee.
Oh, yes indeed, there are more questions than answers. Like, did you see the Buccaneers perfectly capture the spirit of Tampa Bay, as their featured player was a middle-aged man who spent his career in the Northeast and then moved to Florida to retire? Hi America, hello world, my name is Adrian Lee and I am your host. May your friends at the Super Bowl party never find out you're only interested in the commercials. I do think it's very odd that you should have such a large event in this country as a foreigner and the commercials be so prominent. What would that suggest about the quality of the product if you're interested in the gaps where the product isn't being shown, is what I would say. Interested in the Super Bowl? Any stories of Super Bowl parties in the past? A culture I'm not familiar with, something I'm unaware of?
No.
I've watched the Super Bowl in Britain on a few occasions. The problem with that is it's on at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I remember in about 1987, 86 perhaps, I can't remember. New England v the Chicago Bears, I think. But I remember being late for school because I stayed up all night till the early hours watching the Super Bowl final because I like sport. I'm interested in sport. Super Bowl parties, a big part of your life, somewhere you've been, Michelle?
Not anymore.
No interest. Not concerned about who's taking part. Who cares? We haven't had that for a while, have we? Do you remember we ended up at a Super Bowl party about 5 years ago and the host decided it would be really good fun to unleash upon everyone there some of the oddest and strangest foods he had in his possession or what he could get hold of?
That is correct.
I remember he opened a can of Albanian octopus. And then when you combine that with like a dip plus some cheese balls, I was dog sick for a week. The lesson and the moral of this story is do not eat canned Albanian octopus.
It was disgusting.
There's many a slip twixt cup and lip. I thought the Super Bowl was just in Superman's bathroom.
Oh.
He would need a Super Bowl, wouldn't he?
I would think.
I mean, he'd be wearing like machine gun fire, wouldn't he? I mean, how's that coming out? That would be dangerous, wouldn't it?
Kryptonite.
It's all possible. Ridiculous times in which we live in. Welcome to the show. More questions than answers. We are the only paranormal news quiz show anywhere in the world. Each week, my guests and I will search the world's newspapers, websites and TV shows just for you to bring you the very best in paranormal talk radio entertainment and enlightenment. I know for a fact we're the best paranormal news quiz show. There's not one better.
No.
We are the only one.
Well,
when a second one comes along, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, I would suggest. We're the second best paranormal talk news quiz show anywhere in the world.
Number two.
We are number two, a strong number two, though, I would suggest. We'll then test each other's knowledge of the week's events of the mysterious. I always enjoy that. Strange, supernatural, unusual, bizarre, and just plain weird. If you've just tuned in, especially to hear the show, then I admire your taste. If you've just tuned in by accident, then I admire your luck. I am huddled under my quilt with a large flashlight and a nice cup of tea with tonight's guests, somewhere in the barren wildernesses of the Midwest Plains, with the sound of my elderly mother snoring distantly from the room next door. I can't help feeling that this worked better when we was on the radio. I just think visually, you know, close your eyes for a second at home. That's my mother snoring. Now we're on TV, of course. It's a dog's chew toy that I'm squeezing very slowly. The magic's disappeared.
A little bit.
To a certain degree, but you get where I'm going with that. Each week we press our ear against the bedroom wall, whatever my mother listens to before she goes to bed, picks and pulls on her unconscious mind. Let's have a listen tonight. Happy birthday to you. A little bit of Stevie Wonder. You may be wondering why my mother would be snoring happy birthday. I've got a smile very wide on my face. I never thought we'd ever get to this day. This is a remarkable milestone, and we do have to give ourselves a huge pat on the back. I never thought this was possible. The amount of work, effort, and everything we've put into this show over the last 7 or 8 years. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is our 300th episode.
Yay!
How mad is that?
300!
That's ridiculous. 300 episodes. The celebratory rubber chicken, just to wake the dog up because he was sleeping nicely. God forbid we should have the dog sleeping quietly during the show. I mean, that's the last thing we would want, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's our 300th episode.
Hurrah!
We have around us some decorations. There's a couple of balloons. You're looking rather resplendent, Michelle. I see you've matched your lipstick to the magenta of the balloons behind you. Heather's gone with the blue to match her eyes. I've gone with a mixture of colours behind myself, but we have celebratory balloons and a few other surprises and some interesting things along the way. So thank you for joining us and celebrating with us our 300th episode. It's going to be very disappointing to do 301. We've got a long way to go before we have another birthday party and another celebration. Pop music, of course, is the worst music for balloons.
Yes.
So we do need to be careful with our pop music. So snuggle under your covers, turn out your lights and hold on tight. The rules are very simple. Rules. No one's worked it out yet. Rules. This isn't Vietnam. There are rules. Points will be awarded randomly for being interesting or for making me laugh or shiver in horror. Extra points will be available for shock and or value. To help me control my rowdy panel of recidivists and reprobates, I will employ what I have called the inappropriate bell. An example of this would be... We should be raffling this off. We should have a prize.
Mm-hmm.
Someone gets to... We've signed that with a Sharpie and someone will get the inappropriate bell. One of our followers sent that in.
Yes.
Because we did go through a lot at one point. There was a lot of inappropriateness.
Yes.
When we first started this show, the ladies had to be moulded in such a way that there was a lot of inappropriateness, and we did go through some bells.
What?
Pleased to say, finishing school in Switzerland has polished you into fine young ladies now. Very demure. There you go. Holding the watering jug. Venus coming out of the swamp. Fantastic.
Swamp.
The panel have no idea what's coming. I've got no clue what's coming. People think this is scripted. I've got an outro and an intro, and that's pretty much it. Firstly, the mysterious and effervescent Heather Morris. She's been a paranormal investigator for many years with her own team called Hellhound Investigations and does all of her best work in the shadows. She is now one of the leading audio and EVP experts with the International Paranormal Society and brings her knowledge and research skills to tonight's show. She is also our producer and sound engineer. Heather wondered this week why underwear and socks come in resealable bags, but potato chips don't. Welcome to the show, Heather.
You only eat one of them.
What, one pair of socks?
That's right.
Underpants.
You're eating underpants, are you? Do they have to be fresh or slightly soiled?
Don't wear any.
Base notes of
No.
orange juice and wee-wee.
Earthy.
It's true, though, isn't it? You can get yourself a pair of socks and some underwear in a resealable bag, but you can't get potato chips in that.
Very
ridiculous,
true.
isn't it? I realise that dryer lint is the cremated remains of all my missing socks.
Oh.
Here's one of the puzzles. One of the things that I can't fathom out through all of my years and the letters I have after my name, why the fluff in my belly button is always completely different colour to any of the tops I'm wearing. It's always navy blue, but I don't have anything navy blue. When have you seen me wearing a navy blue shirt? I don't have navy blue sweaters.
I really don't want to talk about this.
I don't know why the fluff in my belly button is a different colour to any of the shirts I wear or any of the tops I own.
Gross. It's gross.
Do you know that Darwin has the biggest ball of twine anywhere in the world? How about we start the biggest limp ball? We could maybe scoop out the contents of our belly button. There could be a depository in town,
Please,
maybe
no.
outside Snap Fitness.
It's enough.
And people can add it through a letterbox, and by the end of the year, we'll have the biggest ball of belly button fluff, and people
ball.
would come from all over the world to take photos of it. It would
That's
be
disgusting.
the first time
Mm-mm.
anyone would have a reason to come into town, would it not?
And leave
Maybe.
right away.
I think
Yeah.
it's worth considering.
Ugh.
I also wish to introduce the mad and crazy Michelle Corrie. She was born and raised in Mqta, Minnesota, and has a keen and avid interest in all things paranormal. Michelle realised that airbags are just your car's attempt to cheer you up after an accident by giving you a surprise balloon. Bit of a balloon theme. Having a good week, Michelle?
Yes.
You look good in black. That's
Thank
a good
you.
look for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, see, we've got the dark and the light sitting over there. In fact, having now assessed that properly, we've got the dark and the dark sitting over there is where we are. They could use family-sized bags of potato chips as airbags. Not only would you have the potato chips to protect you, while you're waiting by the side of the road to be towed away, you could then have a snack.
Snacks.
I like the idea. Family-sized, because there's a lot of air in those bags, isn't there? I hate it when I buy a bag of air and it contains potato chips, is where I'm
Yeah.
going with that. We could make those things happen. Potato chips instead of airbags on cars.
Okay.
We'll have to copyright that. They're mad, they're bad, they are paranormal. This is season 4, episode 27. 27 on its own. Not that interesting. Season 4. We've gone through a lot of seasons on this show. We did 140 episodes in season 3, would you believe? It's our 300th episode. We need to celebrate.
Yay!
And I've got a way we can celebrate. I know what our listeners want. I listen to what they want. I'm tuned into the people. I'm aware of what the general public requires at this moment in time. I can hear them shouting at me through the television screen. They're thinking, Adrian, what we really need right now, before the show really gets going, is a nice big bag of jubes. Na, 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 na. Na 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 na, hey, Jubes. Return of the Jubes. Here they are. Return of the Jubes. Yes, I am. For those of you that have never seen the show before, where have you been for the last 7 years? Secondly, many years ago, hang on, look at her. She's in there already. I've not even introduced the Jubes yet, and you're eating them.
Don't care.
Jubes are Japanese candy. They're imported from Japan. There's a candy store in Minnesota proclaimed to be the biggest in the world, and they sell these Japanese candies. They're actually little coconut squares, and I don't like coconut. It's the devil's work. If there's one food I could do away with, it's coconut. But they're flavoured. This particular packet of Jubes has grapes. Unless that's a lychee, I'm sure that's grape. They have grapes on the front. The thing about Jubes is they take effect very quickly, and I don't know whether it's the colouring, I don't know whether it's the sugar,
Gel.
but it's similar to doing 3 lines of cocaine and drinking a whole pint of Sunny Delight. You're in there already, aren't you? Why don't you discuss, Heather Morris, what they taste like? Because I can't eat the Jubes and talk at the same time. I'm talented in many areas, but that's not one of them.
They taste like grape chapstick.
Keep going.
Vaseline dipped in cough syrup.
Is that what it is? All I know is it's kind of chewy,
Mm-hmm.
kind of disgusting.
I'm spilling it everywhere.
Kind of greasy.
It's not greasy.
A little bit.
In
No,
the
it's a
cool of the evening,
Little
when
bit slimy.
everybody's getting very greasy. To
It's
be
a little
fair,
bit slimy.
I've had them for a couple of years, and they were down the back of the sofa, and they were imported from Japan.
I don't think you should have them warm.
When I drove past this candy store recently, it said our best-selling Jubes are back. The only people that buy Jubes are people that follow the show. That's how they're selling so many. I'm going to have a drink of the juice.
Nobody
Jube
wants
juice?
that. Slime
Hang on.
juice. Mmm, slimy.
That is very textured.
It's disgusting. It's got chunks in it.
Yeah.
I'm getting the base notes of Vaseline.
Yeah.
Melted chapstick.
Yeah.
It's like Bonnie Bell.
We have.
Wasn't it Bonnie Bell? Bonnie
Yes,
Bell?
with all those
whatever.
flavors.
Bonneville.
Strawberry shortcake chapstick.
We have to eat them early on in the show because it takes a good 10 to 15 minutes for them to warm up and enter our bloodstream. So some good news later, we will be finding traces of blood in your Jube supply.
Oh.
We've done it now, haven't we? Anything can happen. It's going to be madness. I can feel the blood already rushing into my cheeks. I'm getting flushed. That's made me go red straight away. I wonder if I've got an allergic reaction to that.
Let's hope so.
Do you think I've gone a little redder?
No.
It's ridiculous. I can feel myself burning.
Eat some more.
It's psychosomatic. Yeah.
So I end up having to use an EpiPen or something.
We're just going to leave him there.
When your stories come on,
Yeah.
I'll take a few more, but I can literally feel my face going red. I'm burning right now. It's very strange, isn't it? That devil's coconut is just the worst. So, as convention dictates, every single week we have the candle and cake Martin sponsored gong of infinite knowledge, the ice cream and party sausages of statistics, and the let's make a wish of facts. I shall hold the beater.
Martin!
Thank you, Martin.
We are ushering in the first round, which is a lack of general knowledge. Did you know that 300 is the perfect score in bowling?
Yes.
Okay, you both know that. But do you know how many pins you have to hit to score 300? What's the least amount of pins required to score 300? The closest one will win. I'm feeling very generous. This is repeating on me a little bit.
100.
Michelle's doing maths and you're just guessing using collective consciousness and wild stabs in the dark. Is that correct?
And a I don't care attitude. 100.
Do you like bowling?
Yes.
Have you been bowling?
Yes.
Did you bowl a lot as a child?
No.
We have very few bowling alleys in Britain. Just hardly any. I mean, you know, maybe a handful here and there. It's very Americana, isn't it? It doesn't really happen. We went bowling once, do you remember, with a big group of people from the Paranormal Society? Do you remember what happened?
Yeah.
Would you like to share the incident?
Yeah, I got a turkey.
Oh.
Well, I also got a turkey, but I didn't know what I was doing, and I never played before. So when it come up, you've scored a turkey, I'm like, is that good? Is that a good thing?
Yeah,
Turkey's
whatever.
not considered to be a great animal, is it? It can't really fly. It doesn't really do anything.
Was it alive?
No, I never got a real turkey.
Oh.
I think it's the name given when you've scored a certain amount of points. You get
Three
three
strikes
strikes in a row.
Oh.
On that particular evening, I actually wore some suspenders. I'd call them braces over here. And every time I bent down to bowl the ball, my braces snapped and a woman 3 lanes had her eye out, which was rather disappointing. No
I
matter
had
what
to
I
give
was...
it back to her.
Wow. She rolled her eyes at me and I picked them up and rolled them back and we met at the bowling alley.
Nice.
No matter what I was doing as a child, whatever it may be, my grandmother used to say, Adrian, put that down, you'll have someone's eye out. I could be carrying a stepladder through the house. Be careful with that, you'll have someone's eye out. Regardless of what the object was, that was a standard response. I've given you enough time to think about this. Morris has gone with 100. You are going to go with...
110.
Oh, you should have gone a lot lower. Pins you have to hit to score 300, apparently, like I know anything about bowling, but I've been on Wikipedia, right, is 48. Now, I'm not sure if 48 pins have to go down or the fact that the ball just hits the first, second and third pin and all the rest just go.
Oh,
So
I
I'm not
see now.
sure of the rules of that, but I think 48 is the number of pins required to hit to score 300 under those circumstances, and it pains me greatly to do this, but Miss Morris has scored the first a single integer of 2, but 2 points of tonight's 300th birthday episode. But there's still time to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, of course. Bowling's the perfect sport, isn't it? You know, you spend like an hour drinking and then have to do 6 seconds of exercise. I mean, that's only comparable with maybe darts, isn't it? That's got to be a kind of perfect sport.
And the weather never changes.
The weather, outdoor bowling would be fun though, wouldn't it? We wouldn't get very far in Minnesota with that. You'd bowl your ball, and by the time it got to the other end, you'd have a snowman.
They do winter bowling.
Winter bowling. Things I don't want to do indoors or outdoors, to be perfectly honest. Why is bowling with 10 pins and not with 9 pins? It's a very fun and interesting fact, and I'm going to give you a chance to stretch yourself cerebrally and come up with the perfect answer. Why is bowling with 10 pins and not with 9?
Because they need an even number.
They needed an even number.
Yeah.
They could have gone with 12, I guess, or 8. There is a specific reason. That is a good answer because this is a very difficult question. But we're 300 in. I think, I can start pushing the envelope and asking trickier questions. While you're thinking about that, Michelle, I just want to mention to all of our viewers on MCN6, you can actually play along at home at this very moment, this very second. Again, very Buddhist. We're in the moment, very existentialist. You can play along. We have on Facebook More Questions Than Answers with Adrian Lee, people playing along. And this is giving a chance to all of those people playing along to type their answers in. But if you go to our Facebook site, More Questions Than Answers, there's a watch party taking place at this moment. We're 100% interactive, and there's people pitting their wits against others and having gift wars and creating friendships. You may even meet the love of your life on there. Who knows? All things are possible. But if you jump over to there, you can play along with everybody else and show everyone how talented you are.
They wanted to mimic a pool table.
They wanted to mimic a pool table. And how many?
Pool rack.
Oh, okay. And how many balls are in a pool rack?
10.
Well, there's not, is there?
Well, now there is.
You're playing pool with 10 balls?
Yep.
Wow.
Lost a couple.
I can see that. I'd be potting the purple in the middle pocket. Michelle.
Because they messed up when they made the pin setter.
I will tell you, and I thought this was very interesting and also ingenious and very clever. I wanted to read this out more than anything.
Oh, boy.
9-pin bowling is banned. Every state except Texas has banned 9-pin bowling because back in the day it was linked to gambling and drinking. So all they did was add another skittle and call it 10-pin bowling. So across the board in America, 9-pin bowling was banned due to gambling and drinking. And they said, okay, we'll make it 10-pin bowling. And the law then was irrelevant.
Nice.
That's a joy, isn't it? I like that pioneer thinking. It makes me very happy they just added another pin. My ex had a lot in common with a bowling ball. She would often end up in the gutter.
Oh.
I'm here all week. Try the fish. Japan has the largest bowling alley in the world. The closest person to the number of lanes it has will win tonight's points. The second highest one, by the way, is in Las Vegas. So within this country, we could take a drive, do 22 hours of driving from here to Las Vegas. It has the second highest number of lanes, but it's not the first. The Japanese have beaten you to it. They must have a lot of people bowling out there.
112.
You are going to go using your psychic skills. I can feel you trying to read my brainwaves. You are going to go with 112. To win your points this evening, Michelle, you need to go higher or lower.
Higher.
And you're going to go with
300.
Wow, that's a hefty amount. See, you've left me in a bit of a quandary now because you've gone higher, and it is higher, but you're so far away from it. I will actually give them to Heather. It was 116. She was only 4 short.
Ooh.
So if 4 of the lanes weren't working or the machines had broken, you'd be in with a chance. Can you imagine how noisy 116 lanes of bowling would be? And then, who's going to supply all of the soda for that and all of the French fries? Someone's got to go around and wipe pizza grease on all the paddles for the arcade machines as well. So that's a lot of work for someone there. But Heather has got to the dizzying heights of 4 and has never known such wonders in our birthday episode. She had her wish. Her wish was to try and win.
Not
And
really.
It's all coming true. What was interesting about Bill Murray bowling 3 consecutive strikes in the film Kingpin? Do you remember the film Kingpin?
Vaguely.
Big fan of Bill Murray's, of course. What an absolute...
He actually did it
Legend.
without any cuts.
There you go.
You are saying that Bill Murray actually bowled 3 consecutive strikes in the film and they didn't need to do anything about that. He just stepped
Correct.
up and did it.
Yep.
Michelle, what would you like to add?
Heather's right. And...
She's 100% right. Bill Murray actually bowled 3 consecutive strikes and they didn't have to do any jigger-pokery with the filming. There was no CGI. Nothing had to be edited or reset. He just stepped up. He's a legend, isn't he, at the end of the day? Is there
I love
anything
him.
that man cannot do? He needs to write a sort of Buddhist retreat type book.
God, can you imagine his biography?
I love the way there's a TV documentary where they try and follow him around and places he's been. He randomly turned up at a student party in Edinburgh and went into the kitchen and did the washing up. So people are coming into the party and Bill Murray's doing their washing up in a kitchen in a student apartment in Edinburgh.
I think it's
Crazy.
amazing.
Yes.
He actually played a character called Big Ern McCracken. I actually think that perhaps Phil McCracken would have been a
Bill
better
McCracken,
name.
yep.
Big Phil McCracken. But he did actually bowl them. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, split happens. Yeah, you leave this show with more than you arrive with. At the moment, Heather's up to a rather impressive 6.
Ooh.
And everyone else is yet to score. So we need to get our finger out, don't we? 300 feet per second. That's a long way, by the way, in 1 second. 300 feet per second is the maximum speed of what? By law. And again, if you've not worked this out, they're all themes around the number 300. 300 feet per second is quick, but it is the maximum speed by law of what, Miss Morris?
Animal or mineral?
It's a mineral.
Really?
There's not a lot in life that's going to go quicker than 300 feet per second that's living. Even if you kicked an elephant off of a tower block, it's not going to get to those dizzying heights because you reach a velocity that's maxed out, isn't it? So it is going to be mineral. Let me put it to you that it's actually a pastime. It's actually going to be
Racquetball.
put into that. How would you measure that? Are you playing a game of racquetball and there's a police officer there with a speed gun and you hit the ball and it does 301 feet per second and you're suddenly doing a diamond-chino for hitting a racquetball quicker than 300 feet per second?
Yeah.
It's the racquetball police.
Yeah.
And you're doing a diamond-chino for hitting the ball too hard.
NASCAR.
NASCAR, 300 feet per second. Even if they drove their car off a cliff, it's not making that. Any thoughts, Michelle? It is ballistics, if that helps you.
Rubber bullet.
Rubber bullet. What pastimes and hobbies involve rubber bullets?
And racquetball.
One of my favourite pastimes is writing on a Saturday evening. Yes, any kind of social disorder, I'm there. Put my name down.
A personal cannon.
You are allowed to jump in with a question that's a personal cannon
Yeah.
rather than a public cannon.
Yeah.
A cannon for your own personal use on your own farm.
Potato gun.
You've got a cow in the distance.
Oh, potato gun.
You've drawn a target on the cow.
No.
I'm giving you a big clue there, actually, because this game was invented originally by shooting at cows.
Really?
Absolutely.
Trebuchet.
And that is a catapult from the medieval period. Just the fact that you know that name is remarkable.
Awesome. It's
Hey,
the
Lee.
Jubes.
No, it wasn't the left back that played for France in the last World Cup. Gerard Trebuchet.
Yeah.
Lovely. How do you even know this stuff?
I know things.
It was on
I
Monty
drink
Blair. Scary.
I drink
And
I
yet
know
there's other
things.
things you just don't know.
Oh.
Wow. Anything you'd like to share? Am I going to have to tell you?
Skeet shooting. I don't know.
You're getting closer. It's the maximum speed allowed by law for a paintball gun.
Oh.
Have you ever
Rubber
been-
bullet, paintball.
If you went paintballing with rubber bullets, I think you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
You still wouldn't die.
Have you been paintballing?
No.
No.
Would you go paintballing?
As
Yes.
long as you were the target.
That's a little unfair. The trouble with paintballing is it's all fun and games in Britain. You know, you're in an abandoned derelict factory somewhere with some computer geeks and a couple of nerds, and it's a good time. Over here, my fear would be that you've got people that were in Vietnam and they're in their 70s. You've got other people that have got every copy of Guns and Ammo magazine and own a Doberman and a pile of sand outside their house and 2 beaten up Plymouths. And I'm going to get severely taken down at that point. In their mind, they're going to be reenacting the American Revolution, and I'm going to be on the rough end of some paint.
You shouldn't play at all anyway.
Why is
Because you got injured playing laser tag.
that? Would you like to tell everyone how I got injured playing laser tag in the dark?
You got kneed in the bullocks.
Yes, I did. I got
Oh.
kneed in the nuts in the dark.
By who?
It's a
Some
very
strange little gnome running around.
It's a very long story, and it does involve another evening
Team
of
outing.
another team outing. But Heather's daughter back in the day had a birthday party, and the team went out to the bowling alley, actually, in Mankato, and she wanted to do laser tag. She had this scene of lots of old people running around pretending to do laser tag, and it was in the dark, And I was running about, and her daughter's very bony and very skinny, and she was running and kneed me straight in the galoolies.
Nice.
Yes, right in the twig and berries.
Galoolies.
And the thing was,
And he dropped like a sack of spuds.
well, says a woman who's never been kneed in the twig and berries.
In
I
the
got a
ghoulies.
shot in the pills with a bony knee. The disappointment was that as I was lying on the floor, clutching the family jewels, her daughter was shooting at me. I was getting shot as I sat there having a count up to
Good
see if
girl.
everything was still there. I had to massage one of them down from my stomach lining.
There's no
Oh.
rules.
There's no rules in paintballing.
No.
That was laser tag, wasn't it?
Oh.
I tell you what, I'm unfit and I'm getting on in years. I came out of there gasping for air and throwing up blood. I ran myself ragged.
mess.
I had to sit down outside in the cold for 20 minutes just to get me breathing sorted out. That was unbelievable. But they invented that game due to the fact they used to tag cows with paint
Oh, right.
to, differentiate different cows if they needed to. What year was the first ever paintball game? Answer that question. Win your points.
1948.
You are going 1948.
1980.
Oh, that's very impressive. It was 1981. And there was a couple of
Ooh.
gentlemen in a bar discussing who was the better shot. And they were a couple of experts. Apparently they'd been to Vietnam and other places. And they decided to battle it out using the paintball guns they'd seen farmers shooting cows with. And this all took place in New Hampshire,
I wonder if
which
you
is
can
the
get
same size as Britain.
a paintball Gatling gun.
I'm
Yes,
sure
you can.
can.
You've got the right noise. How to decorate your bedroom. Paintball Gatling guns. I'm sure that exists. I'm sure they are there very prominently. Wow. I got banned from paintballing after I used my knife to save ammo. People weren't very happy with me. Now, there are 300 seats in the Greek Parliament. You're learning a little bit about European politics. So for the first time in the history of MQTA radio, I cannot believe that strange, bizarre and fascinating facts about Greece. Ever been to Greece?
No, I've cooked with it.
Somewhere well, it's America. Of course you've cooked with Greece. This is the country that deep fries turkeys.
They're delicious.
To be fair, anything deep fried in Greece is probably going to taste fairly decent, I would suggest. You've been travelled all over the world. Have you been to Greece?
I have not.
Greece is the hottest place I've ever been in my life. I've travelled through deserts. I've been to Africa. I've been to India. I was never hotter than August in Greece, in Halkidiki, in the north, near Macedonia. I was so hot I couldn't get to sleep. This is how I went to sleep, ladies and gentlemen. I got my sheet off my bed. I put the sheet in the bath. The bath was filled with cold water. So I then got a wet, cold sheet, wrapped it around me like a mummy, slept on the terracotta floor. Steam would then rise from me for about 10 minutes. The blanket would then be bone dry, and then I'd have to go and cover it in water again. And that was the only way I could sleep in sort of 10-minute intervals. I have never been hotter in all of my life. But I did have fun. I like Greek food, little things tied up with vine leaves and bits of string. My first ever girlfriend was Greek. We never got a chance to be on our own because her grandmother was a wizened old lady, looked like a prune with black all over her, and she never let us out of her sight. I think I'm 6'2" due to the fact that this mother used to cook for me. I had moussaka and all kinds of fabulous things. And then, of course, I'd go home and have my dinner. I think they wanted to build me up and thought I looked too skinny as an art student, which was probably true at the time. So, we're visiting the ancient Athens ruins of the Acropolis. It will look fabulous when they finish it, of course. You are not allowed to do this whilst you are visiting the Acropolis in Athens. Strange and bizarre laws of Greece.
You are not allowed to wee.
You are not allowed to squeeze the lemon. Didn't Ozzy Osbourne get into trouble for squeezing the lemon at the Alamo? I think generally speaking, if you're doing a tour of historical and ancient sites around the world, it's probably not a good idea to urinate on them.
No.
Would be my advice. I think some countries would take very poorly to doing that, as Ozzy Osbourne found out to his detriment. So you are suggesting you are not allowed to have a wee at the Acropolis.
Or bring your pet dog.
You cannot bring your dog with you to the Acropolis. Your pug will not be allowed to venture onto the tesserae that is ancient Greece.
Yep.
Michelle, what are you not allowed to do at the
Whistle.
Acropolis? You are not allowed to whistle. Any particular tune? Some Dennis Roussos, maybe? Something.
Maria Callas.
Wow, fantastic. We're not getting points for mentioning and naming Greek singing artists, although I think we shall, actually. I'll give us a point each.
Thank
Oh,
you.
jeez.
Do you want to mention a Greek singer?
Nope.
Well, you don't get no points then, do you? That's how that works. This is how we do it. I will give you a point. In fact, I'll give you a couple of points because I'm going to give you a big clue. It involves dancing. So I'm going to give you a clue.
Opa.
Oh.
You are not allowed to do this at the Acropolis, and it involves dancing, but that's not the answer. I'm giving you a clue.
You're giving me a clue, huh?
Mhm.
You're not allowed to break glass.
You are not allowed to break glass. How does that work when you're dancing? How are you breaking glasses when you're dancing?
The plates.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere. You're talking about Greek weddings, aren't you? And celebrating
Yes.
the Greek art of smashing your plates.
Yes.
Dancing, the Acropolis. You're not allowed to do this whilst dancing.
Wear heels.
Well, it might be dangerous to
Tap
scamper all
shoes.
over that ruinous things. You're not allowed, unless you shout it out in the next few seconds, to dance.
Naked.
It's all in the intuition, isn't it? I will give you a couple of points each because it's our birthday episode and I'm feeling generous. You're not allowed to dance naked. What's happened in the Acropolis that they have to have laws in place to stop you dancing naked, would suggest that happens quite a lot, that they had to put that on the books.
It was a ritual.
I wonder if you're sky-clad and you're mincing around on a full moon with your bits and pieces hanging out.
Mm.
Wow, it's like belly dancing, isn't it? You just get it started and then it goes off
Just
on its own.
goes.
That's right. Then it just goes. I met a girl once that actually danced like my mother. She dressed like my mother, acted like my mother, and actually looked like my mother. And I took her home to meet me dad and he hated her.
Oh.
Oh, yes, indeed. I love this show. You're not allowed to do this at a grocery store in Greece. You're in a grocery store in Greece.
Yes.
You are going to get the police called on you if you do this.
taste the grapes.
Not allowed to try the grapes. So when you go to the cash register, there's just a little vine and one little grape hanging down like a
That's
lonely
right.
little raisin.
Yeah.
The one that you know is going to taste a little bit tart because it's on the turn.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Can't taste the grapes.
Taste the grapes. Any thoughts?
Can't sing.
You're not allowed to sing. Let me give you another clue. Specifically, this is something you do at the checkout.
Mm.
Pay with a check.
We're going in the right direction, but you're not 100% correct.
Lick the money.
Keep going. Who wants to lick a drachma? Wow. In fact, it's probably the euro now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Disgusting. Do you know there's traces of all kinds of things on money? Some stuff
Oh.
we're not allowed to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
Come on, the pub's shut soon. Let's get this
I
out.
don't know what you're not supposed to do with money.
At the checkout.
Pay with cash.
I never said money. I'm just saying you're not allowed to do this at the checkout. Old women do this everywhere.
Write a check.
Keep going.
Chat up the checker.
Use
You can-
coupons.
There you go. It was in
Nice.
there somewhere, wasn't it? Couponing is actually
Coupon.
illegal.
Coupon.
Need a
Coupon.
coupon.
Coupon. Why did I say that in a Scottish accent? I can't get it out and do a bit of coupon, yeah.
Coupon.
That is true. You're not allowed to use coupons in Greece for some reason. Damn those couponing wars with the Turks that they had back in the 70s. Remember, extreme couponing is not a mental illness, it's a gift. One day you may need 97 packets of croutons. That was then, but this is now as we enter our favourite part of the show. It's the mailbag.
Mailbag.
We love the mailbag. Mailbag's been very interesting this week. I want to say a huge thank you to every single person who's wished us a happy 300th episode. There are far too many to read out because we posted this on Facebook, More Questions Than Answers with Adrian Lee. Miss Morris is now playing percussion instruments.
Yep.
She got it on the head and now she has percussion.
Oh.
100%
Oh.
true. But thank you to everyone who's been on Facebook wishing us a happy 300th episode. This is oh my good God!
Wow.
Wow, those tubes are coming back.
Woo.
Wow, see what happens. She's choking over there. Can we get that on film?
Yeah,
No.
probably.
God works in mysterious ways, doesn't she? She disrupts me
Oh, my balloons.
percussion instruments. She squashed her balloons and now she's choking.
Washed it.
I do want to mention several people, though. Deanna has posted amazing and funny show last night. Having Minnesota in the trivia was a lot of fun. Lots of amazing graphics as well. So thank you for that, Deanna. You have produced quite a lot of fun and interesting, would you call them memes?
Yes.
GIFs?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not up with all these
Memes.
trendy words the youth of today are currently using as their vernacular, but that's very kind of you. Heater as well has produced some amazing
Yes.
graphics over the years, but he's done himself proud this week. So Heater in New York, I want to thank you. If you wish to see those funny GIFs about the show, you can go to More Questions and Answers with Adrian Lee. But we have literally been inundated with good wishes for our 300th show. So I want to thank everyone for doing that. I want to give a shout out to Michelle's brother, actually. Mike, you are a legend, sir.
Yes, he is.
Mike Anderson has produced some amazing GIFs this week that literally made me laugh out loud.
Yep.
And we'll talk about those in a second as we move along. We did a poll last week. There's been some moments in the last, 30 episodes, 300 episodes, where people have claimed that they're their best parts. There's been outtakes, funny incidents. There was all kinds of craziness. If you go onto YouTube and type More Questions and Answers with Adrian Lee, you'll see outtakes and funny things. There's a couple of incidents that literally now, all those years later, when I read those stories out, still make me laugh out loud. And I've listed them. You can find them on our Facebook site. Of all the things to come top, and we did touch upon this last week, Michelle falling off her chair has been the highlight
You win.
of the last 7 to 8 years and 300 episodes. I spend 5 to 6 hours every week prepping this show. It takes an hour or two to sort out the lighting, to do the editing, to put the show out, to upload it. And we put so much time and effort into this show. Can you imagine having to write jokes and trivia for 300 episodes? But according to our followers and fans, Michelle being drunk and falling out of her chair has been the highlight of the last 300 episodes. If you wish to see that, go into our archives, go onto YouTube. I think it was season 3, episode 54, 55.
Now we must remember.
You will find that. And the one thing you can do for me, if you wish to give us a birthday gift, this would be fantastic. Please, please, please invite your friends and your family onto our Facebook site and share this show with all of those people. If you want to help us out, if you want to do something nice for us for our 300th episode, invite your friends and family onto the Facebook site. Share this with all of your friends. Post the links to these shows on your social media walls and say that you're watching the only paranormal news quiz show anywhere in the world. It's the only way we're going to get more followers and supporters if you then do that, because we don't get paid for this. We operate on Patreon. We get lots of volunteers and donations to keep this show running because it's expensive finding the studio time and putting everything together. We don't make any profit. We do this for the love of it. We've done it solidly for the last 7 or 8 years, 300 episodes in. Please, please, please keep supporting us. Keep sending donations in, and we'll be very grateful. Can you tell our aesthetically pleasing and beautiful followers how they can donate to the show, Miss Morris? And I'm going to go in with some more jubes.
Well, you can go on to Patreon, look for More Questions and Answers with Adrian Lee, and you can become a supporter where you will get all of the episodes first, audio, video, some unaired episodes, as well as some special episodes that are only made for Patreon. And you want to get those not for your mamas first, don't you?
Yes, we do stay in the studio at the top of the hour and talk filth for half an hour. All the stories from around the world we cannot read out on air because they're of an adult nature, but they're too good not to read out. Some people say it's their favourite part of the show, so you have an incentive to come and find us. Would you also like to discuss SoundCloud and all of our platforms, where people can find us?
Well, you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify. I want to keep calling it Spotify.
Spotify, Gasbox,
Buzzsprout,
SkinTag. We're on every single
Radio.
platform.
If you can't find us,
you've only got yourself to blame. We've been doing this so long, I'm finishing the end of a
sentences.
Perfect. See how that works. But you can find us on SoundCloud. Also, digistream.com has got all of our episodes. We've got our own YouTube channel, so if you wish to come and find us and see us, you can watch us on there as well. We are literally everywhere you could possibly look. I have in front of me, and I shall find it for you. my latest book. This recently got to number 1 in the best-selling chart for paranormal books.
Yay!
Can you believe such wonders? It's been a fantastic couple of weeks, isn't it? 300 episodes,
I
book at
know.
number 1 in the charts. You can't complain, can you? I've had worse weeks.
Yeah.
Ghosts of the US Dakota War, 1862. It's available in all good bookshops. It's available on Amazon. It currently has 5 out of 5 stars. People that have left reviews on Amazon have said it's my best book yet.
Yep.
People have said they've not read a better book by me. And of course you get better the more books you write, in the same way that a musician's first album is perhaps not as good as their 6th or 7th album, but it's certainly been given 5 stars. I'm just going to read you the back of this. Are you ready to experience Fort Ridgely's resident spirits, the battlefield ghosts of Native American warriors and US soldiers, the restless souls of massacre sites, and the thoughts of Chief Little Crow and Governor Henry Sibley from beyond the grave? Join ghost hunter and historian Adrian Lee along with his elite team of paranormal investigators on a compelling tour of the most haunted historical places of the US Dakota War. Accompanied by rich historical details, it will send shivers down your spine as he recovers history from the lips of the dead. This is the biggest book I've ever written as well. 92,000 words. That is a wedge of a book. It took me 5 years to write and research that. So if you're interested in ghosts, history, the Midwest, the paranormal, everything is there for you, and you can find that on Amazon. Finally, before we jump into our stories this week, would you like to tell everybody what we do on a Tuesday night?
On a Tuesday night, we all get together and drink online. Yeah, actually at about 8 o'clock at night, if you want to switch your TV over to the History Channel and watch The Curse of Oak Island with us and get cursed along with us, because it's terrible.
Well, I guess you're cursing all the way through it, which is why it's called The Cursing of Oak
The show
Island,
is
right?
the curse.
Yes, you must.
The trouble is, once you've
mix the drink.
started, you can't remove yourself, because
like-
after 8 series, you're thinking, I'm going to stick with this. At some point, they're going to find something.
It's like Lay's potato chips.
Honestly, it's like
Yeah.
crack cocaine. Once you've started, it's like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
That's right. And so what you're going to want to do is come with us and have some nice gift wars.
It's a lot of
And
fun on a
It
cold
is.
winter's night on a Tuesday.
That's right. It's a big family.
Especially when you're at home. We're in COVID. You can't go
It's
out.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday night. Put your feet up. Pour yourself a Bloody Mary. Sit there and watch with us. And there's 500, 600, 700 comments. A lot of people joining. It's a lot of fun. We don't watch the show. It's on in the background, and I'm watching all the jokes go past.
Yep.
This is where Mike, Michelle's brother, has spent all week producing GIFs and memes. And
Really
they are-
excels.
He did one this week with Batman and Robin. I literally laughed out loud. I did. I was literally laughing out loud. I will do a quick synopsis of what actually happened this Tuesday in case no one was watching and you missed it. They found a rusty nail, a pile of boulders, and a scrap of leather. So that
Oh,
was the
boy.
excitement of an hour of my life. In fact, it's not even an hour, is it? It's 65 minutes just to torture you for an extra 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes adds up over a period of years. I'll be on my deathbed wanting to
Pushing
be
it
in credit
back.
by a couple of hours due to the 5 minutes they've added on to The Curse of Oak Island. I'm also on the Paranormal Files. There's a T-shirt here and a mug and all kinds of things. If you go to the Paranormal Files on YouTube, I actually did some investigations with 2 crazy guys from Texas. It was a lot of fun. You can search for those as well. Michelle's on 3. I am on 1. And Heather's scored 10.
Because I'm crazy.
Crazy for you. It's 100% true. We're in the round of ghosts and hauntings, and remember, we do not do orbs. Am I still red? I'm glowing here.
You're a little damp.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
Moist.
happens. How does flavoured
Moist.
coconut make me moist? It's
Milky
ridiculous.
Joe.
That's Milky Joe in a wig.
Yep.
Gemma Atkinson has shared her belief that her late dad's presence in her house, and he plays tricks on her. That's like a living dad, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what dads do, is they play tricks on us. The former Hollyoaks star's dad, David, sadly died when she was only 17. Taking to her Instagram account this week, Gemma36 shared that David has been sending her little messages around the home. She shares with her boyfriend, Gorka Marquez, and their 1-year-old daughter, Mia. In the video, she said her coffee machine had switched on. all by itself.
Like an automatic one?
And one of her
Ah.
pet dogs suddenly started barking.
Oh, no.
It's very
They do
unusual, isn't
that?
it?
Yeah.
For a dog to start barking. I mean, I know everyone's experienced dogs in this room, and they don't bark very often, do they? They tend to be quite
No.
quiet and barely notice the postman coming up the
Bunk.
path. If you're playing the Bell Bunk and Snore drinking game, you can now have a shot because Heather has bunked
Your
my
story.
She told followers the coffee machine just came on. The dog started barking. It's just come on its own.
Oh, good.
Ghostachino, anyone? Gemma said, quick, get the vapors and the fainting couch. Gemma said she wasn't scared, but actually found it quite comforting. She admits that she likes to think that it's her late dad paying her a visit. The mum of one continued, loads of you are saying there's a ghost in the house with the coffee machine. Do you know if it was there? It wouldn't bother me. Stuff like that doesn't bother me, she says. But I actually find it quite comforting. I do not mind. That's a bit thin for evidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're looking at evidence and the coffee machine comes on and the dog barks occasionally. To be fair, though, I mean, they could make a whole season out of that on the Curse of Oak Island.
This is true.
Oh,
So we can't be
boy.
too disparaging. Ghostly Coffee Machine or There's Nothing to Be Seen. Go to our Facebook site. More questions and answers with Adrian and all of tonight's stories and much, much more will be there for you to read in glorious Technicolor in 4. What do you have me tonight, Miss Morris?
A politician who consumed a potion said to ward off the coronavirus has since tested positive for the disease. Dang it
Who
anyway.
knew? God
Yep.
works in mysterious ways.
Was a magic potion, if that helps.
Wow, that was Jesus then, wasn't it? That's close-up magic hot cross buns and healing leopards.
In a striking example of how blind belief can negatively influence even the highest echelons of government, Sri Lanka's health minister
Here we go.
Pavithra,
Would you like to buy a
Oh.
vow?
that's just the first name. Wait
I
for
understand
it.
that. I've been to Sri Lanka. I'm aware of what their names are
Wait
like.
for it. It's Waniarachichi,
Yep.
reportedly
I love the way
tested-
you managed to squeeze in a Scooby-Doo expression in the middle of that.
Chichi.
Say the first part of his name,
Pavithra,
and then you went, "Ray," and then did the
Wanar-
second part.
Waniarachichi.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a very lovely and intelligent man.
I'm
Sri
sure.
Lanka's a beautiful country. I'd recommend anyone to go there.
Reportedly tested positive for the coronavirus this week after endorsing and consuming a baseless herbal remedy produced by a sorcerer who claimed that he had received the recipe from the Hindu goddess Kali. Kalima!
Kalima.
The Hindu goddess Jubes.
Yes. Jube juice. Now we're cured.
Yep.
The minister's endorsement of the potion had generated significant criticism while also spurring thousands of people into queuing up in the village of Bendera to receive it themselves. Several other government ministers have also reportedly taken the potion as well. This potion's going everywhere. It is unclear what is in the concoction. That's a little worrying. However, there is absolutely no reason to believe that it has any effect whatsoever on COVID-19, as evidenced by the fact that Waniarachichi has since tested positive for the virus and is now self-isolating to prevent spreading it further. Don't you spread it, Waniarachichi. There have been several recent outbreaks, including one in a garment factory back in October. And in total, Sri Lanka has seen over 52,000 cases and 270 deaths.
Oh.
But maybe that's because people are taking the magic potion.
Wow, that's ridiculous. COVID in Sri Lanka or the man's a complete waste of time.
Oh,
You decide.
I
Go
know
to our
something that
Facebook
rhymes
site.
with that.
Damn you, Jubes, you're ruining my life. That's it, laughing up. Michelle, I'm going to come to you next. I don't want to run out of time of you not to read your story out, so you can jump in, win yourself some points, madam.
All right. The spooked owner of a haunted house had the shock of his life when he discovered an eerie vault door hidden inside the walls.
Oh,
Rupert Ellis bought the property in Camborne, Cornwall, a couple of years ago and has always suspected it had its secrets. Flickering lights, bizarre messages and posters, and oddball happenings have left the Cornishman believing his home might just be possessed.
Creepy.
Ow.
He said, "It's a little bit nuts, but I do have a suspicion that this house is haunted. There have been a lot of coincidences in this house and things that have happened." Rupert has since discovered his historic home was once the head office of the Tahiti Minerals Company.
Yes, Minerals Company.
Yes. And while getting some restoration work carried out, a local builder hinted there may just be a secret vault containing maps of local mines.
Ooh, a vault.
Yes. I spent a week or so tapping the walls. Tap, tap, tap.
I'm glad you're miming tap for everyone in case they weren't aware of what tapping
Yes.
was.
Yeah.
Trying to work out exactly where it would be, revealed Rupert. He finally found the vault inside a wall, which was behind a poster with a bizarre message emblazoned on it. The headline on the poster says, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?"
It wasn't the big red X then?
Yeah, super
Wow.
bizarre, wasn't that? So I did about 4 little test holes in the wall and got a jackhammer, as I can see there's something at the back of one of the holes. When I explained it, the badge of T. Withers and Sons on the vault became visible. So it's bizarre because the poster was exactly over the position of the door and had been there for about 1.5 years.
Ooh.
Wow. Night in a vault, or it's not his fault. You decide, go to our Facebook site. Very quickly, in the last minute, there's been a mysterious vampire beast killed 50 livestock by sucking their blood. This is the famous chupacabra, of course, taking place in Chile.
Chupacoffee.
Spanish for a cup of coffee. Officials and vets in northern Chile are said to be baffled after dozens of baby llamas and alpacas were found with puncture wounds in their chests.
No.
The injuries do not match those made by usual predators such as pumas and foxes, which normally go for
It's
the neck.
Puma for us Americans.
Well, when in Rome, I guess we'll go with that. Farmers claim the creature only attacks at night and does not leave any footprints to identify it. That's a vampire bat at that point, isn't it?
You would think.
Wow. They don't know what's causing all of this. There's animals dying left, right and centre in Chile, and they only go for the throat, apparently. So if you wish to see this story for yourself in full, Killing the Herd, or I Don't Believe a Word, you can go to our Facebook site
Ooh,
and more
Pumas.
questions and answers with Adrian Lee. Well, all good things come to an end, so let us look at tonight's scores. It's our 300th episode. In last place with the K2 meter and the dead battery is myself. I only scored 3 tonight. I get a week in a Jubes factory and a broken coffee machine.
Sweet.
I'd take that, actually. That's not
Right
a bad
on.
third place prize. In second place tonight, scoring 5 remarkable points, is Michelle. She gets a week in a Sri Lankan witch's house and a special herbal drink. You're going to wake up 3 days later with sore body parts.
Nice.
In resplendent first place with the $33,000 IR camera tonight.
Thank you.
Heather's run away with this. I don't know what kind of cheating and shenanigans. You need to drink Jube juice more often.
Oh, don't say that.
Jib.
She has scored 12 remarkable points. She gets a Spanish cup of coffee and a night out in a spooky vault with some tapping. Do not fear, listener. Remember, we are back with a whole new bunch of stories next week at the same time, and I would love for you to join us for a fun and informative journey through the world of the paranormal, strange, intriguing, bizarre and weird. Please tell your friends and family about the show. Share all of the links. Invite your friends and family onto our Facebook site. We would be very, very grateful. My gratitude and greatest thanks are extended to Lorna Hunter, Heather Morris, Ton Drainer, and Michelle Corrie, and all at the International Paranormal Society in paranormal.net. It just remains for me to say thank you for listening, and remember, be interested and interesting. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being there. Thank you for following us for the last 7 or 8 years. Our 300th episode, solely down to you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.